Good afternoon, Harvest Ridge. As we are heading into the Advent season, I wanted to stop and I wanted to bring you up to speed with our annual meeting. We gathered on November 20th in the evening, and it was just a great time to be together. I'm the newcomer, I'm the new kid on the block, and so I just wanted to share some general impressions and also some information with you. I've attached the minutes for the meeting, and so you can read those through at your leisure. They will have all the details, they'll have all the numbers there. But I wanted to give you just a big picture of the evening. It was great to be together, to sit at tables and to have a meal. The youth group served us. It was a Chick fundraiser, and they raised almost $600, so that was great. Good job, Mark. Good job, kids. Good job, Chick. Anyway, I noticed a lot of new faces, and I noticed a lot of new families, and so we wanted to acknowledge that and to thank everyone who came to support where the church is going and to celebrate it, to ask questions and to make comments. We jumped into the business section, and we have a lot to celebrate. It feels like the momentum here at Harvest Ridge is up. Our direction is becoming more and more clear. We're being able to bridge the gap between our heart and what we're actually doing in the community. And so these pieces are coming together, and so we're celebrating that. We're celebrating the fact that more and more people are coming to Harvest Ridge. They are finding a home here, and they are growing in their faith here. But we also acknowledge that there are some challenges. During the meeting, we proposed a budget, and it's an austerity budget. It's a budget that we will need to grow into. It's an increase of 4% from last year's budget. And to be honest, it's a little bit of a stretch because we're not exactly where we want to be with this year's budget. And so we're praying that God would help us as a church to grow into that budget, that we would be able to fund it. The Faith Promise campaign was very successful initially, and things have slowed down a little bit. And so if you have not had an opportunity to bring your faith promises, if you have not had an opportunity to make that commitment, we would still love to know how you're supporting the church so that we can make wise and prudent decisions as we're moving into the future. So we just acknowledge that we want to grow in this area. We want to become more financially astute, and yet we want our faith to lead the way. We also celebrated the fact that God continues to provide good leadership. And so our nominating committee brought us two names to be considered, Scott Fenton and Mavis Griesmer. We elected them onto the next year's leadership team. The nominating committee, they're moving in a different direction this year, and I'm excited about that direction. I think it's a better direction. Being a part of the leadership team, it's one of the most inspiring, challenging, faith-building opportunities you can have as a church leader. And we want our leaders to be in a position where they know what they're saying yes to. They feel qualified, they're excited about the challenges and the task in front of them. And so our nominating committee is functioning more like a discernment team. Instead of just nominating people from the floor, instead of just having 10 seconds or half an hour to think about if you'd like to be a part of the nominating or the leadership team. Our nominating committee is initiating conversations in advance, and our members are coming to visit the leadership team and get a sense of what we're talking about, the issues that we're facing, the personality, the chemistry of the team, in order to make wise decisions. And so that shift is something that is new and different, and I think it's also something that is better. We also acknowledge that as we're moving into 2012, there are some exciting things that are happening. We are going to be spending more and more time clarifying our vision, clarifying the mission, answering the question why we exist. And so what we're doing is we're getting a good feel, we're getting a good description of Harvest Ridge DNA, because as we grow, we don't want to grow out of the church that God has called us to be. And so we're identifying our DNA. We're also asking the question, what is the heartbeat of this church? And then what is the greatest need in our community? And where does the greatest gift and where does the greatest need intersect? And I think we're going to discover that that's our vision, that's our mission. We also discovered that if we keep on growing, we're going to grow out of room. We're going to have to close the doors to people who would like to come and to be a part of our family. And so we're slowly exploring what it would look like to launch a second service, and we want you to know about that. It's not going to be a surprise. The congregation is going to be involved. There's going to be prayer and discussion. And so just know that that's going to be a conversation that we're having in the coming year. Again, there was a lot more that was discussed. I don't want to take too much more time. And I am sending a document that describes the whole flow of the meeting. But I want to say thank you for coming and supporting and asking your questions, and thank you for the good spirit that we experienced. This is a church that God is bringing together, and we're celebrating what God is doing, and we are rising to the challenge that this new year brings, knowing that God is with us, God is for us, that God has commanded us to be strong and courageous as we follow Him. And so, again, thanks for watching this. Thanks for being involved. Thanks for investing what God is doing here at Harvest Ridge. Blessings.